afternoon and welcome to the NCC Newsroom at the Newhouse School of Public Communications. I'm Matt Zenewager.
And I'm Sam Harris-Simowitz. This is the third of 5 live streams of Democracy in Action, an annual Election Day project covering voting around Onondaga County, run by the Broadcast and Digital Journalism and Newspaper, Magazine, and Online departments.
Throughout the day, we'll bring you live coverage from dozens of polling places in central New York. Mail-in ballots were much more popular this election due to COVID-19, but in Skaneateles, senior citizens flooded to the polls. Reporter Maya Lockett tells us why it was important for them to do in-person voting.
I visited Skaneateles today and was able to talk to many elders on their decision as to why they chose to do in-person voting instead of mail-in ballots during a pandemic. But one story stood out to me the most. I heard you say you're a first-time voter.
Yes, I am.
That's really exciting.
It is.
Diane Thompson waited until she was 67 years old to vote for the first time.
I have finally come to where I have strong beliefs in my age now and what I really want or would like to have in our country.
And now that she has voted, she feels
Wonderful, wonderful. I recommend it to everyone. Everyone.
like Diane. Many other elders voted in person. Despite the rising numbers in COVID-19, they wanted to make sure that their vote counted.
I think because of everything I've heard, that has really made me want to just come in versus mail-in voting, and I just feel more secure with this.
Many Skaneateles residents felt safe going to their neighborhood polls because of the limited amount of people.
There aren't very many people here today. There are fewer people than I thought there might be. But everyone was wearing a mask and they have people distanced in there, and I felt very safe.
And for others, physically going to the polls gives them a sense of purpose.
I wanted to do it in person. I wanted to come and physically do it at a polling place. It just meant something more to me for whatever reason.
In Syracuse, I'm Maya Lockett for Democracy in Action. Diane's story shows that this election continues to break records and motivate people of all ages to get up and vote. In East Syracuse, reporting live, I'm Maya Lockett for Democracy in Action.
36% of voters have already cast their ballots. That is the most early voting in Onondaga County history since they began collecting data in 1996. With 308,296 people registered to vote in the county, officials believe that about 200,000 people could vote in person today.
Onondaga County needs fewer than 35,000 votes to break the voter turnout record. The record was set in 2008 when 220,000 people cast a ballot. About 10,000 people have voted per hour since the polls opened at 6 this morning. The 2020 presidential election has motivated Americans to make it to the polls. Here in Onondaga County, residents say they want to make sure their voice is heard. Others say they don't want to ask themselves if they did everything they could when they see the results. But they all agree people need to do their part by voting. The same is true for 59-year-old Onondaga County voter Roger Redmond, who says this is probably the most important election he will ever vote in.
This country is divided like I've never seen before, and it's time for us to get back together as one country by getting this guy out of office. So that's the main reason why I'm voting, and hopefully why others are voting also.
And Domenica Oriana is at the Nancy Cantor warehouse to speak with voters. Domenica?
Yana with Democracy in Action, and I'm here at the Nancy Cantor warehouse where everything is ready for voters to come here and cast their ballots during Election Day.
National coach Michael Sgro just cast his vote today, November 3rd, 2020. Sgro told us why he's been pleasantly surprised with this year's elections.
I love the fact that there's numbers are up and mail-in votes and all the different ways people are voting is all up. That's really great.
Sgro said he voted straight down the line on the Democratic ticket.
So every Democratic candidate got to vote for me today.
Seymour business accountant Jason Belch also just cast his vote and told us why voting is important for him.
Because of whether it's electoral, because of the presidency, maybe my vote doesn't matter as much. But if it's a local Senate race or the local judges, I believe it does.
Reporting from the Nancy Cantor warehouse for Democracy in Action, I'm Domenica Orellana.
Thanks, Domenica. As voters cast their ballot here in Onondaga County, those votes will all go to New York's 29 electoral votes. Remember, the magic number is 270 for a candidate to be declared the winner. The major swing states of Pennsylvania, Florida, Ohio, and potentially even Texas will be the key to deciding the 2020 general election. As of right now, only New Hampshire has votes reporting, with 1% of the votes counted.
Voting is on their way in Onondaga County, and the Onondaga County Board of Elections has the early numbers. As you can see, more than 70,000 voters have shown up to the polls this election day. And Democratic Elections Commissioner Dustin Czarny notes how Onondaga County is nearing a turnout record. Polls close at 9 tonight, so get out there and vote.
The election has voters turning out in record numbers to show support for their candidates. Sally Walkup is live in Fayetteville to tell us why some voters came to the polls today.
I'm here at the Fayetteville Free Library, where even though a few flakes of snow have been falling in the parking lot and there's spooky decorations behind me, this has not scared voters away from this election. There have been a steady stream of people in and out of the building for the past few minutes. This mirrors what I saw in Liverpool at the school district earlier today, where I was able to speak with voters on and off camera about the election. The ones that showed up say they were there because they had serious opinions about the government and they were wanting to make a change with this election.
Can't stand Trump, so I voted not Trump.
This election is said to be one of the most polarized elections in our history. People are deeply divided on the issues and have been showing up in record numbers to vote. The Liverpool School District Voting Center has seen a steady stream of voters today.
Although the school office parking lot is not totally full and there's no lines outside of the door today, voters have been showing up to make their voices heard and to cast their ballot for the 2020 election.
Frank Mecker has voted in every election since he has been old enough to vote, but says this one is especially important to him because he is not happy with some of the candidates and how the government has been running.
I'd like to see changes in both parties. I'm an independent, and I don't like the way both parties are going. So.
Mecker spends a lot of his time online and chooses to inform himself that way.
I'm retired, and I use the internet a lot. I get most of my information off the internet by just valid sites.
Despite the cold weather today at the polls, Mecker said it could be a lot worse.
It could be raining.
Exactly, it could be raining.
Or snowing.
If you haven't cast your vote yet and were planning to do so, you still have time. The polls close tonight at 9 o'clock. In Fayetteville, I'm Sally Walkup for Democracy in Action. Back to you.
That's all for the third Democracy in Action live stream today. From all of us at the Newhouse School, I'm Sam Harris-Simowitz.
And I'm Matt Zennewager. Join us again for updates from the polls at 6 and 8 tonight.